So I'm here with Nick Channon, who's working on FIFA 15, very nearly at the end. And this time around, you guys are talking about goalkeepers, the unsung heroes on the pitch. So what have you changed with goalkeepers?
Completely everything, basically. We've rewritten the goalkeepers from the ground up. We've been doing it for the last couple of years, getting the technology in place, and there's a number of key things that have changed in terms of decision making. The goalkeepers now are constantly evaluating situations, which means that they can now, change their minds on the fly. Whereas previously, because we didn't have the processing power, they were stuck with a decision. So maybe a cross would come in, made an early decision to catch the ball, but the sort of situation around them changed. They had to catch the ball. Whereas now, if players come in and around, they can maybe change their minds and actually punch the ball instead. So, the goalkeepers feel much more intelligent. There's more emergent behaviour that we didn't have before. We've also completely reworked our animation system. Now we can actually branch animations at any point. So what this does is a number of things. Is previously, if a ball was going sort of top corner but got deflected on the way, the goalie would still dive towards the top corner. Whereas now you can recognise the deflection and then sort of branch his animation and try and get back. We use sort of physical momentum now, so you get goalie going one way, tries to get back the other way, but also other ways to score goals now as well. So completely rewritten from the ground up, lots of new systems around intelligence and animation, and and I think the goalkeepers are looking great.
Are they more effective now? Is it harder to score now with these smarter goals?
No, I mean obviously, and we're still not done. So there's still some balancing to be done from the build you're playing here today in that area around whether they catch, whether they parry. There's still some tuning still to be done. But no, I mean actually, what we talked about that in the press conference yesterday. One of the things that the new goalkeeper also gives you is new ways to score. So you saw in the video where the ball goes through the goalkeeper's feet. Through the legs, sorry. Again, these are the new sort of emergent behaviours that we can now have. You can get the goalkeeper going one way, shoot the other, which we didn't have that before because we might snap the goalkeeper back into the other direction. So these are the things that can maintain balance, which is obviously very important to our game.
Now, you've recently announced that the Premier League is in there in all its glory with all 20 stadiums. That must have been a deal that was a long time in the offing, right?
Well, I mean, it's something that we're just really excited about. We've never brought this volume of content in 1 year. We've got all 20 stadiums, as you said. That's actually 12 new stadiums. We had 8 already from the Premier League, so 12 brand new stadiums. We've never put that number of stadiums in a year. We've done over 200 scanned heads, so lots of new heads as well. But not only that, we've got lots of new crowd and audio data going in as well. We recorded over 20 games, actual games to get new audio assets, and the crowd really sound across the game actually, but in the Premier League as well with new assets sound fantastic, more intelligent, reacting to what's going on the pitch. We talked about sort of emotion and intensity quite a bit this year. It's not just the reactions of the players, it's the reactions of the crowd and the sound of that help really build the atmosphere. You get a last minute goal, and we had it the other week, was playing back in the office. You get that last minute goal. I'm playing as Liverpool. Gerrard scores, goes to the corner, 10-man celebration, which are brand new. Crowd just erupts, and then they start singing "You Never Walk Alone." And those are kind of the emotional feelings that we want you to get from playing the game, and the audio plays a huge part in that.
And it ties back into your new sort of broadcast package look as well, because you're mimicking the style of a Premier League broadcast.
Absolutely. Last year we rewrote our system completely. We'd previously been dependent on scripted sequences, so you'd like play out little mini movies, if you like, that would tell kind of the story, but you're only limited to the variety that we ship with. Whereas now, a completely AI-driven system means that we tell the story as it's happening. We obviously had lots of new cameras last year. We've completely improve that with new cuts. We're cutting into players' reactions. A goalkeeper makes a great save. You'll see players coming up to him, patting him on the back. Great goal-saving tackle, the same kind of thing. So it really adds to those things that you naturally see when you're watching a game, and we wanted to bring that to FIFA.
And for Xbox players, obviously you've got Legends again in FIFA Ultimate Team. What was your sort of selection criteria for this year's Legends?
Well, it's about obviously listening to feedback. Alan Shearer has been added this year. He was one of the most requested Legends for this year. And it's trying to get that nice variety. Players from all around the globe. Great to get, obviously an older legend in Sir Bobby Moore. I think that's fantastic for our game. We've got the Laudrup brothers. It's nice to get then Alcocha, Valderrama, the hair, So I think there's a really good variety in there, again this year, and we're adding sort of 15 new players. So I think that's, it's great.
And it's a bit more meaningful having a legendary keeper like Peter Schmeichel who you had on stage as well.
Yeah, how could I forget?
And you've got a new team management feature, I noticed, new UI and stuff. What are the big changes there, and how does it help players sort of organise their
Yeah,
skills?
so I mean, it's another rewrite, which is great. Great. It's again a lot of feedback. It's been a while since we've done this. I think it's 7 or 8 years that team management system's been in the game. It's a system that goes across the entire game, so it's another big one. We wanted to make the UI more user-friendly. It's easier to see now, easier to move players around, easier to go from formation to formation, and obviously aesthetic looks much more pleasing. But we didn't want it just to be that. For career mode, we've been asked for a long time to bring in what we're calling team sheets, where you can now save out different lineups for different competitions. So you might have your league lineup, you might have a cup lineup. It means you don't have to completely keep resetting it all the time. You can tweak it. You can have different lineups for different situations, which people find convenient and have really wanted. But secondly, we've got stuff in there that also changes gameplay. So we've got the player instructions, where you can now go into each position and determine how that player is going to play. Does a wide man stay wide? Does he come inside? Does he try and get in behind? You can now give those players that kind of instructions, which means you're fine-tuning your team to play the style you want them to play. It gives you much more of a, the fidelity of control of management that we've never had before, and it obviously changes the way that your team will play. So that's a really, really big one, and those two things in particular really enhance the career mode experience.
Now, you guys always bring in your sort of community to kind of come in and comment on the game and stuff. What's been the biggest, because there are sweeping changes this year, what's been the biggest thing that they've latched onto and been happy with?
Well, we've talked about team management and a number of the things that have come in through feedback, but we've actually had the game played more this year at this point by our fans and community than ever before, and I think the thing that's resonated the most and the thing that we're really, really happy about is the feeling of responsiveness, fluidity, and I think for us that's three different elements coming together, which is a completely rewritten dribbling, so there's much more fidelity of control in dribbling, feel like you can get round players, and then a lot of work around agility and control in just general player movement. So the nice thing is dribbling's been changed, it's got you've got more control, but on the flip side you've also now got more controlled defending, quicker turns, get players back into position. You don't have to use contain as much now, whereas maybe you did a little bit in the past. It's easier to stick with the attackers, and then thirdly, the correct contacts. Basically, we've reworked ball physics in every contact, every touch of the ball, which we're preserving momentum of the ball, we're preserving spin, and that's had a profound effect. Those three things in the feeling, the responsiveness, and the fluidity of the game.
And you can score some amazing screamers now with the new balls.
But the other thing as well is we talk about the contacts. Last year we got a lot of feedback about through balls and about headers, and a lot of that became through there not being enough error in crosses. They were very accurate. The headers were very, very accurate, and through balls again, same thing. With the spin and the physics-driven system, it's more natural now. So there's more natural. Can be a little bit more error in these situations. So if you're heading the ball against the spin, it's in real world it's not as accurate. That's now reflected in the game. A nice glancing header though back post feels amazing. So all of these different things come in not only to obviously make the game feel great, it's helping to address some of the issues and some of the feedback we got from last year as well.